Hello, today I'm going to be sharing with you a quick method to record Blockade Labs Skyboxes into a video format using a piece of software called OBS and capturing the browser output. Links to all tools are listed below in the description. OBS is a free software and the videos created from it can be shared on social media or used for editing in other platforms. By the end of this video, you'll be able to export video footage as seen in the intro of this tutorial. Let's get started. First, navigate to obsproject.com. You'll be met with the download landing page. I have a Windows machine, so I will choose to download the Windows versions. After it has been downloaded, I run the installer and select default settings and locations for the purpose of this tutorial. It will then ask if I'd like to launch OBS as a final step. Upon opening the new software, you'll be met with a large blank empty canvas. This is your work area, and anything populated in that space will become part of your footage. First, let's click and open Settings on the bottom right menu. A new dialog pops up with an array of different settings. Let's navigate to Video tab of the left side. You'll see parameters for your base resolution, the expected output resolution, and some settings like desired frame rate. For this tutorial, I'd like to select 1920 by 1080 for both the base and output, and adjust the frame rate, or FPS, to 60. These numbers will be used later in our setup, so it's important that they match. Next, I open a browser and navigate to skybox.blockadelabs.com. Our goal on this page is just to grab the URL so we can use that directly inside OBS as a source of its own. So I click the address bar as is and copy the text. Next, I return to OBS and I look at the panel titled Sources at the bottom. I click the little plus sign to add a source. The type of source I want in the menu is Browser. A pop-up shows Create a new source. I'm going to choose to name it Skybox. As soon as I hit OK, it loads a default browser source into my blank canvas. It is using a default OBS placeholder URL and dimensions of 800 by 600. We will adjust these settings to load our Skybox instead. First, let's adjust our dimensions to match our canvas. Remember, we selected 1920 by 1080 earlier in the tutorial. We'll adjust these parameters to match those settings. I would also like to use a custom frame rate for this source to match the parameter we set in our video settings. I enter a value of 60 in the FPS text field. Upon hitting OK, the browser source loads and displays our Skybox default scene. However, this is just a view, not an interactive website. We can interact with it though by selecting our Skybox source and clicking the Interact button. From this interactive page, we can turn off the UI if we wish via the toggle switch at the top of the page. Notice we can scroll by clicking and dragging around inside this interactive viewer as if it was a web browser we saw earlier. While inside the interactive viewer, if your image is not panning, simply click spacebar to reset it. Now with our selected scene, we can hit Start Recording button in the bottom right menu. This will immediately start a video recording session as per indicated by the red circle on the bottom of the interface, along with an elapsed timer. When you're done recording your footage, simply click Stop Recording. Your video file should now be saved to the default location, usually under Videos in your Windows Explorer. As you can see, I now have a 12-second clip playing of the footage I recorded. While working in OBS might not be as intuitive as just working in a web browser, we can still follow a workflow that can import your creations into OBS using the same steps as before. For this example, I will enter in the prompt text, a large interior of a steampunk library with giant windows and many plants. For an added touch, I'll select a watercolor preset for the aesthetic style. The image is being generated, and here we have our output. Now if we click the share link at the bottom right of the interface, we will have a link of this piece of art saved to our clipboard. We can use that link inside of OBS where we originally loaded our browser source. In OBS, I double-click the Skybox source to open its properties page. I highlight and select the current text and replace it with the same URL I copied from the share link. Upon hitting OK, the new page loads inside my OBS canvas. I can then click on Interact button to turn off the UI, if I choose, and to ensure the image is scrolling by pressing spacebar. Next, I follow the same steps of recording a segment, and a video is rendered to the same folder as the previous file in this tutorial. Links to all tools are listed below in the video description. Feel free to reach out in the comments section for any questions, and thanks for watching.